Something that has taken root over the past decade is content creation. Everybody on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, or any other platform is attempting to create content. This massive wave has taken over the zeitgeist and has everybody wanting to make videos, posts, and online media. The language around these creations is around content. And this has been thoroughly explored in Patrick H Willems' video about this particular phrase. But something that his video brought to my attention that I wanted to touch on myself was the idea of where art exists in the modern world. Not only is everyone and their dog trying to create their own media empire, but now artificial intelligence is swooping in and making things like traditional art pieces and writings insignificant when a computer can create something in no time and at no cost. So I wanted to pose a question. What did art used to mean before it was content? What does art mean now, and what will art mean for us going forward? We can start with the literal definition, I suppose. The Latin word art means skill or craft. This root is still found in things like the word artifact today. I think this means art has to be something that requires practice. If we use this logic to look at some of the people these days who consider themselves influencers or content creators, is it not the simple action of taking a photo that creates a photographer, or the filming of a video that makes a filmmaker? What is the difference here? Not to be pretentious, but I'm pretty sure the Latin root is saying that any old photograph or any old video isn't art. Basically, it's a skill issue. I think in order to understand the difference and see what the line really is, we should understand what art meant throughout human history. Let's take a look at the continent that I live in first, North America. Starting in North America, art has been documented to have been used for political and religious uses. For many, it was more than just a show of beauty, but a way of convincing others of those beliefs. Moving north and looking at Native American art, it was used as an expression of culture, and also a way to pay homage to their societal heritage. The pottery they created and housed was more than just decoration, but actually utilized. They didn't use art as something just to be pretty or enjoyable, but also functional. The Native Americans also considered the creation of their own weaponry to be an art form of its own. If we jump across the Pacific Ocean, we find that art had similar foundations in Asia. Japan has always been visited by other countries, and because of this, it often inherits many of the traits and arts owned by other cultures. However, after trying to free themselves culturally from China in the 1400s, and then continued unrest in the country, the civilization settled upon paintings that weren't religious in their depictions. These were the main form of expression in Japan for centuries. Some of the most famous pieces of art, though, have come from Europe. Definitely the most marketed, at least. Whether it's the Mona Lisa, Starry Night, or Michelangelo's David, this is art that has not just sprung from its cultures, but become the culture. These pieces are what we look at to understand the time periods and imagine what the people of that era saw, felt, and understood. Art throughout history has been all about human expression. Paintings and statues were commissioned to worship God, or to make sure that people didn't. This has changed as we get closer to the modern day, as less people needed to be gatherers and hunters, and they could spend their time choosing what to do rather than just living to survive. Many have been given the freedom and space to create art in a world where very few had the talent, and even fewer had the privilege. It isn't just the painters and sculptors of the world who are allowed to exist in this new environment, but musicians, architects, and even new genres of art, like movies, TV shows, and video games. So, if art is anything that requires skill or craft, then it's not so much what's being made, it's more about who is making it. Take a look at this little stuffed animal that I bought. It's a stuffed pug wearing a shark hoodie. Now, there were a bunch more on the shelf and was clearly made in a factory somewhere. The design, the weave, all of it have been factory produced. But was it automated by a machine, or did an actual human spend the time to sew every stitch together? Perhaps I'll never know. I tried looking into it, but stuffed animal creation can go either way. I couldn't figure it out. The main point I want to have you thinking about here, though, is that if this thing in my hand is art, someone had to come up with the idea for this, then someone with the skill to design it, someone with the craft to create it, or to create the machine to put it together. Would that make this then art? Can a machine even create art? Can machines learn a skill or a craft, or should that praise be placed on the human who engineered such a device? Something like this googly-eyed rock is not art, since it takes no skill to create, right? But I still like looking at it. I think it's cute. This YouTube video that I'm making right now, I'm new at this, I really don't know what I'm doing, and I'm putting effort into it, so that doesn't really mean I have any skill yet. So wouldn't that mean that my creation today isn't art? Am I just being pompous here and trying to come up with a way to call what I'm doing art? No. Maybe a little, but it's probably bad art, if that. If we take a step back from the original definition and use art to describe ingenuity and creativity, the very act of creation is art. That means everything in the world that has been artificially created by humans is in some way an art form. Just look around you right now. Whether you're staring at your phone or your laptop, the design of that machine could very well be somebody's artistic expression, or the furniture around you, designed to be utilized extremely well. If everything is art, even my dang tax forms, then I'm an artist, everyone is. If every single person is an artist in some form, then that means that, yeah, every YouTuber and all content is art. So why don't people see it as art? The YouTube brand of content has been around for, really, 2 decades? Okay. Will there ever come a time when the medium isn't scoffed at? If we take a look at one of the popular YouTube channels here, let's just look it up. Oh yeah, of course, Mr. Beast. Sure, everybody knows him. His videos have been gaining some controversy as of late due to how highly edited they are. When watching, it can feel like there's a struggle to focus on any one main thing, but to Mr. Beast here, that's an asset. The high editing and fast pace keeps people engaged. This is just his artistic choice. It might stem from business practicality and understanding what he's doing, but it's his own art style, in the same way that Da Vinci's paintings are very clearly different from Andy Warhol's. His videos are never going to be the same as someone like Jarvis Johnson, whose editing style is much more laid back and consistently in the moment. Geez, am I really comparing popular YouTubers to famous painters? Thank God no one watches my channel to hear me say that. And why would anyone? I mean, there are so many YouTubers out there. Like, an insane amount of people are creating content every day, to the degree that it's impossible to keep up with the amount of content being uploaded every day. YouTube has stated that on average, about 270,000 hours of content are uploaded a day. That's over 30 years in one day of our lives. 30 years is uploaded to YouTube, and 34 million TikTok videos are uploaded every day. If we average that out to be a minute, that comes to another 32 years of content. That's over 62 years. That's a whole lifetime. Whole lifetimes are lived and breathed in an entire day, and they're uploaded to YouTube, and for the first time in human history, we have the communication and the means to share it with one another. And yet, I've never heard any of it to be considered art. Why not? Let's take something like Eddie Burbach's and Ted Niveson's videos to see every rainforest cafe in North America. The storytelling, the editing, Eddie's journey, it's all entertaining for sure, and I think it absolutely qualifies as art. Art in the modern era is changing. You can spend weeks on a sculpture that you put your heart and your soul into, and when you upload a photo, it's scrolled past in mere seconds and already forgotten. I'm not trying to say that YouTube videos are the way to share your art or that this should be the main medium, but it is the main medium. On top of that, going forward, we have to compete with AI. In the modern era, it takes a lot to stand out. Currently, thankfully, there is no fully digital persona who can take over, but AI, as Penguin Zero likes to say, is the worst it's ever gonna be. Someday, maybe soon, a fully digital person will be able to house their own content and build their own platform solely as a digital person, and when this happens, this work of engineering will absolutely be a work of art. The fact that so much expertise and advancement in technology's ingenuity was able to create this thing that is able to resemble a personality in such a way that it's endearing and enjoyable for humans to latch onto, it'll be amazing. And when this happens, will we consider what that thing creates to be an artistry, or will we view it in the same way we view any other machine, just an industrial cog producing products at the same rate as any that produces plastics or food or power? The videos that have been painstakingly created will be recreated and reachieved by non-humans all over the place. Pretty soon the future of what we delight in won't even have a human touch. The future of WALL-E is all the more likely to come to fruition as humans aren't even needed for the creative process of being human anymore. Look at me. I'm just me. I can outsource editing if I want, and even script writing if I really want to, but if AI shows up to knock me down and take over, I won't ever have a chance. The entirety of the digital landscape will be filled with the thoughts and ideas of artificial personas. Then the artists will have no space to create for themselves. While this may sound like a good thing in the idea that these people will now not be incentivized for monetary gain, but instead for their own enjoyment, I think it also takes away from the satisfaction of success, to know how far you've come and how much you've accomplished by honing your craft and making dreams a reality. If that's the future, why should we even try now? That was a mindset I had for a long time. Not that I was going to be usurped by AI, but that I was going to be usurped by others, so there was no point in me even trying to get better. I spent the first 18 years of my life certain that I couldn't draw. I tried picking up a pencil every now and again, but I would always fail. I was never satisfied with myself, until the pandemic rolled around and I picked up a pen seriously and I just drew. Every day after I got home from work, I would just draw for hours on end, and now look how far I've come. I'm just kidding. This is what I've been able to create. This is what I'm capable of. I mean, sure, it's not the best thing in the world, but I'm really proud of it. And I mean, I'm clearly inspired heavily by the works of others, but I created this thing with my eyes and my hands, and I'm proud. But I'll never be as good at this as so many out there, and I'll definitely never be as good as the machines that are able to create this stuff in moments. But who cares? I don't. I don't want to be the best in the world. I just want to be consistently getting better. That's the future that I want for myself. And I think once YouTube and other digital platforms become less viable sources of income, that will be the prevailing thought for those who continue to do so. For those who strive to make great films, the only ones left won't be the content farms, won't be the ones who are doing it greedily, it'll be the ones who are left in it for the art of it. If the world is headed down a path of AI domination, then many current jobs can be replaced. Accountants can be replaced by automatic spreadsheets, actors can be replaced by AI voices and animated bodies. The human element won't be necessary, and the rulers of this world will be coders and engineers who are able to bend the electrical element to their will. If that's the future of this world, should we fight it, or is the threat of a nuclear winter more likely, and it's entirely possible we'll never even get to that stage because of it? I don't think anything so drastic is something we can prepare for, but I think what we can do instead is find ourselves, find out who you are and what makes you happy, and try. On a quick side note, I like to think of the idea that if there is an apocalypse in society, and like in 2,000 years, historians find old DVDs and they find a way to play them and they see Star Wars, will they think of it as historical fact or understand the fiction in it? Do you think it's possible that in the future, Star Wars will become the next Bible? Honestly, this would be the funniest thing to come out of the apocalypse. Moving into the future, I think there will be more of a balance. We saw the huge writers strike over the summer, and the actors are still striking currently, fighting for fair wages, and it's very likely that in a few years those same actors and writers will be on strike again, fighting against the use of AI to replace them from their jobs. Something to ponder is if it's wrong to utilize programs that have been worked on so hard to create great things, even if it's at the cost of others' work. Will capitalism vanquish the artistic space? I think we can take a look at the progression of televisions to see if we can find comparisons. Televisions for decades were the same, and people were able to go to school to learn to repair old tube TVs. It was an excellent career path for people all over the first world countries, since so many people had TVs in their house. That was until Sony and other competitors created the LCD television. These made large CRT TVs obsolete. The large flat screens absolutely dominated these behemoths, and very soon, creating the older model just wasn't viable anymore, to the point that they aren't produced in any capacity anymore. All those people who spent years learning just how to repair that certain type of TV were suddenly out of a job and a career. Is this the future that is in store for anyone who wants to become an influencer? Their biggest competitors won't be the millions of others trying to do the same, but instead the curated perfect beacon created on a hard drive in some guy's garage. I hope not. I hope that humans are the ones who dominate over entertainment and that others can enjoy for as long as humans are around. We're going to reread that. I hope that humans are the ones who dominate over entertainment that others enjoy for as long as humans are around. While soul is something that is really difficult to quantify, I think there is a portion of that all of us can feel. We, as humans, can feel when an acting performance is wooden or fake because we've felt those emotions. We know what it's like to be happy or in pain, and I don't know if artificial intelligence will ever be able to truly capture what element that makes art so compelling. I can look at a painting and feel moved by the brushstrokes and the way the moon hits the water, but you may look at it and see just a harbor. Nothing special at all. That's something that makes defining and quantifying what art is so difficult. Art is subjective. It makes different people feel different things. AI will probably be able to move people. It is based off the works of other artists after all. In my perfect ideal of the future, what does the future represent, and what will the aspiring artists of tomorrow have to look forward to? Well, first it comes with a lot of change. Ideally, what all of us humans and all of our descendants will be working towards is a near utopia. A utopia can only exist when all people have the same thoughts and feelings and peace of mind on all things. This will never happen as long as free will exists, but the idea of a utopia with freedom and cleanliness, that's what we should be striving towards. The ideal of something perfect so that people can be happy, when humans have got most of it right. The revolutionists have beaten pollution, the peacemakers have ended all the wars, and the normal people don't suffer because they don't have enough money to enjoy their lives. Then everyone will be able to be artists, fully. Creative minds will no longer be squandered, as the future of mankind is no longer dictated by everything wrong with the world, but by the harmony on Earth. I think in the perfect world, everyone will have the opportunity to become an artist, even more so than everybody already is, to enjoy life and create to their heart's content. However, I think it's safe to say that as long as humans are, well, humans, there will never be a perfect world, and there will never be a time where art becomes the sole focus of humanity. So, once again, should we give up? Let the waves of content wash over us? What should we do to ensure the future of art is excellent? I I think it's mostly up to stuff you've probably heard 1,000 times before. Support art you actually enjoy. Don't use pre-orders, and rally behind creators that you like. Whether it's a filmmaker with a studio behind them or just a guy sitting in his room recording on his dinky laptop. I think in the same vein, there will never come a time when there is no amount of art being produced. There will always be someone out there making something amazing that they're passionate about. And in this time and in this place, there are more people doing that than at any point in human history. Let's celebrate that fact. And even if you don't feel creative, remember that you, in and of yourself, are beautiful. The DNA that constructs you is a mystery as to how it even came to be in the first place. Your consciousness, the fact that it even exists, is beautiful. You're a mystery. Perhaps one that will never be solved, a question that plagues biologists and philosophers of the world. How did we come to be? While we may never truly understand the building blocks that invented us in the first place, you are you. Over the course of your life, you've developed skills, you've developed crafts, and you'll develop many more for the rest of your life, even if it's something as simple as making others laugh. That is art. You can do incredible things with your life, and I think you will. It can feel disparaging to try to do anything new when experts are plastered all across the face of the internet. It can feel impossible to have a voice that stands out, and that fact can make the very passionate falter. Something people focus on is fame. It's easy to do so when the most successful people they see are the famous ones, the ones who they can watch online and see with their own eyes. But success isn't equal to fame, which isn't just an issue the internet invented. It's been an issue with humans for the last century, since celebrity culture and the rise of Hollywood came to be, and even before that, for centuries, as people gossiped about monarchs and royalty as something they wish they could be, because everybody wishes that they could be a cut above the rest. It's human nature, and it spans as far back as humanity has been around. The title of this video is Art vs. the Internet, and as I've already stated, I think that you are just that. So if it's you versus the internet, what should you do? The internet is very similar to the real world. At times, it honestly just feels like an allegory for what the real world is like. Some people will rise up due to their immense talents, and others will ride their coattails. Some people will gain success by sheer luck and try to turn around and act like they did it purely based on their own merits. That's how it often is in the real world. Unfair. And I think when you try to make that comparison, it gets a little easier to live with the internet. You can try all you might, but YouTube might just never be a place that's conducive to you and your creativity. But that doesn't mean you should stop building. It just means you need to find where your talents are best suited. Don't let the internet beat you. You are stronger than that. So I implore you to take a break. Take your headphones out and sit outside for a bit. Enjoy the grass or the snow, depending on what season you're listening to this in, the air, the sun, and enjoy the beauty that exists in the natural world. And if you can do that, you'll make art. All right, thanks everybody for watching. That was the video about kind of my take on how art exists today. I know that it was kind of all over the place, and I tried to make a through line at the end, and I hope it worked, but we'll see. Probably didn't. But yeah, everybody have a great day, and maybe I'll see you in the next one. Bye.